How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Episode 2 of the Next Goal Wins podcast. Got my boy Georgie here, and I told Georgie this last time. 2 months after we record the first episode, we'll have 2 episodes uploaded, and that's it.
And this is the second one.
This is the second one, so we're on the right track for that. But hopefully we can continue recording more episodes and keep this going as a weekly thing. Right now, we're doing it once a week. I think that's a good time frame that allows us to get the episodes out, put it out on YouTube, and give enough time, especially because things are kind of slowing down right now. Or not slowing down, but it's really only the transfer window that's kind of popping right now.
Yeah.
No games, off season. So when we get into the season, we'll see, with games coming up every week, and then the World Cup coming up, we're probably going to do a little bit more. But for now, I think 1 episode a week is good. Yeah,
I mean, just talk about transfers and just random things going on in the football world that are interesting. And then, we go from there. Once the season starts, preseason is going to be interesting. And, go from there. So let's get straight into the transfers then. We'll start with the team that's hijacking everyone's targets, Chelsea.
All right, so I'll just go down the list real quick. Sterling, talks with Sterling. Rafinha, which is finalizing right now. They're just they can't agree on, is it personal terms they can't agree on?
Personal term. The Rafinha thing is crazy, but we'll get back to that.
So Sterling, Rafinha, Matthias de Ligt from Juventus, and Zinchenko. And Nathan Ake as well. So 3 players from Manchester City. So if you can't beat them, take all their players, and then you can beat them.
I mean, to be fair, if you think about it, obviously the new owner coming in at Chelsea, they would kind of want to make their own team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Tuchel was kind of like, look, we need players, and we need to take all the players from Man City, I guess. But I mean, going down the list, Sterling, I think will be, proven in the Premier League. Probably wants to move to London anyway. Wants more playing time. He's not going to get that Man City, so probably a good move for him. Ake, Zinchenko. I mean, are
those 3 guys? So those 3 guys from Man City, apart from, I would say, Zinchenko right now, who's on his trajectory upwards at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Are those guys gonna get Chelsea to win the Premier League?
Sterling, I mean, proven. He had a.
Well, Sterling came from Liverpool.
Yeah. And
then he wasn't doing too hot at Liverpool. They didn't like him. They didn't see his. They didn't see his future at Liverpool.
He didn't want to stay. Liverpool wanted him to stay. He didn't want to stay.
But
and a young kid going to.
But
Man
he was.
City.
I don't know. Man City was where he really. Got into his form.
At Liverpool, he was a prospect, very young. He had the speed. He's always had the speed. He didn't have the finishing. At City, he became the player that he is today, where, even last year, he didn't play that much. He wasn't trusted in the important games. He wasn't trusted in the important times.
Because the guy misses, sitters in the most important games.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 games where he's missed a sitter.
Yeah.
So I think that's his...
And then rumors were that
weakness.
He wants the Real Madrid move. He was interested in the Real Madrid or Liverpool. Liverpool or not, obviously Jurgen Klopp is not interested in bringing him back. And now Chelsea are coming in. Is he going to... I don't know. I mean...
There hasn't been much talk about that one. Just
just a rumor here and there.
But it looks like they're in talks. And of course, all of this is according to my boy Fabrizio.
Yeah.
I feel we got to give him a shout out in every single episode, because we literally just follow the guy and then talk about the transfers.
And, I mean, he's the most reliable one. And obviously, there's so many rumors, and we don't know which are true, which aren't true. So we're kind of talking about everything that we hear. So, don't take everything.
So literally, as soon as we upload this episode, Sterling's gonna go to Tottenham or Arsenal or something.
You never know. Yeah. You never know with these with the rumors and the transfer window.
Yeah, well, the transfers can fall apart at any moment, and from all the things that need to go right, from the time that they contact the club to the personal terms with the player, to the details with the 2 clubs, there's a lot that can go wrong. So things are always changing, but we'll just talk about all the rumors and all the things that we've been hearing and kind of talk about that. So continuing with Chelsea, we got Sterling. Do you want to go into the Rafinha one? Go ahead, Georgie, because you have a lot to say. I'm sure you have a lot to say about this.
The Rafinha one's interesting because as a Liverpool fan, Liverpool were interested in January to bring Rafinha in, and obviously I've been paying close attention to that because anything Liverpool related, I'm all about it. But according to, again, Fabrizio, 4 months ago, Rafinha and Barcelona agreed on personal terms. Barcelona don't have the funds to pay
Barcelona's
Leeds.
trying to buy everyone without having the money.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't have the funds to pay Leeds the amount that they want, which is around 55 to 65 million pounds, depending who you listen to. So pretty much the Rafinha thing goes as Arsenal are very interested. They have not agreed a fee with Leeds. Chelsea are very interested. They have agreed the money to pay Leeds, and they have an agreement in place between the two clubs. Rafinha and Chelsea don't have an agreement in place in between.
So that's the only thing holding that one
That's
back.
the only thing holding. So Deco is Rafinha's agent. So he's working on that as we speak. He has 7 meetings with Chelsea and whatnot. Rafinha wants to go to Barcelona. Barcelona don't have the money to pay Leeds the amount, but they have agreed the contract with Rafinha. So it's all like...
So it's backwards. So they have the personal terms.
Yeah. So
Chelsea doesn't.
Rafinha's waiting on Barcelona, kind of stalling the Chelsea deal as long as he can to potentially go to Barcelona. And I just read a little bit ago that Barcelona are structuring a sponsorship deal where they're getting funds in so they can potentially go after Rafinha and Lewandowski. So that's interesting because obviously, like with the rumors, and Barcelona don't have the money. Like they're trying to buy everyone, but they don't have the funds to do all that. So it's gonna be interesting how all this plays out. Where Chelsea are trying to hijack everyone. They have the money. New owner wants to make his own team and trying to buy everyone. So who knows, man?
And Arsenal, as usual, are just sitting, waiting, hoping that something breaks down in the talks with Chelsea, and then also probably in the talks with Barcelona.
Yeah.
But what would be holding Arsenal back would be the fact that, one, Rafinha that's not his first choice.
Yeah.
If he had to pick, he'd probably go to Barcelona and
then Chelsea.
And Chelsea before he goes to Arsenal. But financially speaking, that's the thing. Financially speaking, Arsenal can't do it either.
Yeah. And
we do spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like was it the last transfer window that we spent like the most money out of any of the English Premier League clubs?
I mean, you guys spent was it 70 million on Pepe?
It was we spent a lot of money on all these players, and I'm telling you, this is what I'm telling you from last time is we spend a lot of money on like pretty good players that are supposed to get us in the top 4, but don't end up getting us in the top 4.
I think Rafinha would be an amazing signing, whether it's Chelsea or Arsenal. I hope he stays in the Premier League because
I hope he goes to Arsenal.
Yeah. Gabriel Jesus, I just saw a video of him walking the Emirates with a kid on and all that. So he's probably going to be...
They're finalizing it. By the time this is up, they're probably...
probably announced and there's going to be a video and whatnot.
That's a good signing. I like that one.
But that was the talk. So Chelsea have the money. Barcelona have, obviously, the team, the name, and like he wants to go there and personal terms agreed. And Arsenal have a bunch of Brazilians who want Rafinha to go there and follow them. So
they're all just texting him.
Yeah, they just kind of come and.
So we'll see. That deal's probably going to go on for maybe another couple of days at least before they make a decision. And like you said, he might be personally trying to stall it for Barcelona to find a way to manage to get him.
But also the thinking behind it is, so if Barcelona do get Rafinha, that means Dembele, most likely Dembele is gonna go. He's not gonna stay. So that means Chelsea and Barca are kind of playing like the mind games right now because they're gonna either get Rafinha or Dembele. They're just depending on who wants to go where. So that's interesting. But I mean, if it was me, I'm taking Rafinha over Dembele any time of the day. So
yeah, and then we got Matthias de Ligt.
Yeah,
who they want from Juventus.
I kind of feel bad for him because when Ronaldo went to Juve, that was like a big move for him from Ajax, being a captain there, being a leader. So it's such a young age and such a promising future. And then he went to Juve, didn't have the best of starts. I think he got an ACL injury.
Yeah, he got injured.
And then kind of he's been trying to recover since.
From watching him, I thought he was a good center back, and he was young. Like when he was like 18, and he was already captain, and he was really good. So
yeah,
I think he'll do well. I think, and again, a lot of these situations are just like he did fantastic at Ajax, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to Juventus and maybe doesn't have the greatest start, but then a move to a team like Chelsea could be the same thing as like Sterling when he left for Liverpool, left for Man City from Liverpool. So you never know. But I think talent wise and like potential, I think he's and he's young. What is he now? Like 22, 23 now?
Yeah, probably. I mean, around there. And I mean, he's still young. And Rudiger left Chelsea for Real Madrid. So they do need a center back, and I mean Chelsea want everyone. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I heard Koulibaly's in the picture in there as well for center back, but
And then they got Nathan Ake and Zinchenko, which would be good signings as well. Ake, I feel like, would probably be one of those players that will still be on the bench most likely.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be a starter. I think he'd get some playing time in the later parts of games. Zinchenko, I think, could be a starter because I think he's young, he's got potential, and I thought he did really well at Man City.
Yeah, I like Zinchenko, but the question is he going to play over Chilwell? Chilwell did have his knee injury last year, so that's keeping him out. And I think so. I think he's young. I think the way he plays like he's got experience. Yeah.
And especially playing with a team like Man City, where every single position there has 3 or 4 players who are really, really good. And being that young, I think he'll be fine if he goes there. But again, he could be going to Arsenal next week, George.
I mean, you never know. In 5 minutes, who knows? I mean, anything and everything can change.
All right, so let's move on from Chelsea then. We got Spurs. The one that they got pretty solid, Richarlison, right? Although Chelsea did try and hijack that deal as well.
Chelsea going after everyone, man.
Chelsea's literally the team that's like just waiting, and then when teams pick up players, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot I want him too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, Chelsea are trying to get Rafinha, and then he's stalling for Barca, and they're like, why not go for somebody similar? Richarlison, similar position. Yeah. Why not just try and get him? But it's interesting for Spurs because, okay, you have Kane, who's going to start. You have Son, who's going to start. And they got, who would they get from Juve last year? Oh, Kulusevski, who did amazing, who came in on the left side, left-footed player, really good. Like, where's Richarlison going to fit in all this?
Up top.
Who's sitting out?
He's like the new Firmino. He's the new Bobby. He's the new Bobby.
No, do not ever compare.
He is.
No, do not compare.
He's a younger version of him.
No.
He's probably a little bit more clinical, to be honest. He scores more goals.
Guys, Bobby Firmino is the best player in the world.
You guys can put that in the comment section, but I'm telling you, that's like the Bobby 2.0. Give him a year or two.
Okay.
And the problem is he's going to Spurs, which by the time he gets there, and if they do make a couple more signings, they already got a couple signings with Perisic and Bissouma.
Spurs are going to be good.
Spurs will be legit.
Spurs are legit.
They'll be good. But I think if he would have gone to like a Chelsea or even like a Man City, he would have been Bobby 2.0. He might have even skipped Bobby 2.0. He might have gone Bobby 3.0.
Listen,
he's a good player.
The fact that you're comparing Bobby,
he's a good player.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't mind Richarlison. He works hard. He does all that.
And he's Brazilian. You should like him, didn't you? Didn't you like Bobby because of that?
Not Bobby. Bobby's different. Richarlison. No,
I like Bobby. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about Bobby.
We're not comparing.
I'm just saying Richarlison has a little bit more output at the moment, and I feel like Firmino's already kind of shown where his potential's at. Richarlison's still on his way up.
I can't believe you just compared.
I'm just saying. I think that's a fair comparison.
Where does he fit his Spurs? If he's gonna play the false nine, Kane played it perfectly last year. False nine, dropping in deep.
They'll put Kane as like a 10.
No way, you're not gonna put.
They'll put them both up top. They'll figure it out.
I just don't see who sits out.
But Kane is actually, at times, he's a better provider than he is a goal.
Yeah. That's why
that's how they played him with Son as well. They put Son even higher, and then Kane was assisting.
Yeah,
him.
he was dropping like Bobby is in the Liverpool formation. But where Richarlison's gonna go on one side, I don't know.
I think Richarlison's a little bit more of a. The thing with Firmino is he's more of a false nine.
Yeah.
Right, but he is a 9. And Richarlison's a 9, but he's less of a false 9 than Bobby is.
Yeah, he's way less. He's more. He can be on the wing and take guys on, and he's, I would say, quicker and all that. Yeah, but Bobby's just different class. Bobby's different class.
Relax,
not even quite.
Relax. That's a bias.
Different class.
That's a bias. Look at this guy. Yeah. He's wearing a Liverpool T-shirt. Of course.
Nah, Bobby's just different. Like you can't.
Listen,
compare.
all right. Let's just stop the transfer talk real quick. How much do you rate Bobby? Compare him to some legends, and I want to see how delusional you really are when you compare. Because I like Bobby. Don't get me wrong.
It's hard to it's hard to compare him because there's not many players in the world.
Who is in the same conversation as Bobby as far as legends who have retired? Guys who we can all agree are like, all right, That's how good
Are you talking about how good they are, or are you talking about the playing style and like the false nine and all that?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. Like, are you comparing him to Ronaldo? Like old school Ronaldo?
No.
Are you comparing him to like I don't know, I'm trying to think.
He's different.
The problem is, he's a different type of player
He-
because the false nine wasn't really
Yeah.
invented or created until more recent times with like Messi. So if you're talking about some of the old school guys, that position is different.
Yeah, a 9 was just a 9.
But if you
Score
had,
goals.
let me put it to you this way: if you had to draw a painting, or if you had to paint a
Okay.
painting, right? You know those paintings where they have like all the legends in
Yeah,
one room or whatever doing something.
Yeah.
All right, would he be in the same painting as like, let's say 20 other guys, or would you be able to find 20 or 30? Let's say 30. All right, would you be able to find 30 guys that you could paint over Bobby Firmino?
It's a tough question.
Exactly.
It's a tough question
Exactly.
because
So
people. Okay, you can compare strikers. You talk about strikers. You talk about goals. I look at strikers, and now I have a different output. Not watching Bobby play,
right,
under
not,
Jurgen
not
Klopp.
just goals,
Like Bobby is a
creating plays.
completely different. You can't find a. Okay, I'll tell you what. You look at Haaland, Darwin Núñez, whatever, scoring goals. You look at Ronaldo. You look at Zlatan. You look at like guys that just score. You can find not many, but you can find guys that score. But you look at Bobby, you can't find many that are willing to do the job he does as a false 9 or as a 9 or whatever you want to call him, the same exact way that he does it. You can't find name 5 other players.
But
like
here's
Bobby.
the thing, though. Here's the thing. Would you rather have a guy like Bobby, or would you rather have a guy like one of those guys that you just talked about that just scores a bunch of goals?
I mean,
Like, would you? Here's the
Okay.
comparison. Would you rather have Bobby, or would you rather have Benzema?
see, Benzema could fit in that role at times,
But Benzema scores goals,
but Benzema also scores goals.
so
Ba-
Benzema's better.
depends where you put
Oh
him.
my God! If you're about to say that Bobby Firmino's better than Benzema,
Okay, not this
we're gonna end
last year.
this podcast
Not-
right now, George.
Not this last year. Benzema was out of this world last year, like this past
Yeah.
season, out of this world. So
And
Bobby
he
was
he
injured.
could have been out of this world before, but
It's just he was in the shadows of Ronaldo
Exactly.
and all that.
And then as soon as Ronaldo left, he was like, I'm
Yeah,
going
he took
to,
over
yeah.
and okay. Benzema was more of Bobby when Ronaldo and Bale were on the side when at Real Madrid,
Mhm.
and I like Benzema then because of the work he did, and people didn't give him credit.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference though. Bobby didn't have somebody. He's not in someone's shadow that he has to do that.
But I mean, Mo Salah on one wing and Mane on the other.
No. But
Like-
if the guy was a true goal scorer, he'd be a true goal scorer regardless of having those guys on there. Benzema had to play that role for Ronaldo. And then he's like, I can do that role too. And then he freaking scored a bunch of goals.
Bobby scored. Okay, I'm gonna say this in the Liverpool formation, in the Liverpool tactics, in Jurgen Klopp's way. Bobby is unreal. He's changed the game for Liverpool. He's a pivotal part of the way Liverpool play. Carlo Ancelotti, after the final, said Liverpool are very predictable in how they play. So I think Jurgen Klopp said, you know what, we're gonna change it up because he's right in a way.
So now you're making excuses for why
No.
they lost in the.
No.
That's what you're saying.
I'm saying Jurgen Klopp is going to change the way Liverpool play in the upcoming seasons because Liverpool, if you look at how Liverpool started, they started in the 4-3-3, Bobby dropping in or possibly Mane dropping in, whatever, and it was very predictable how they're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think he might go into the 4-2-3-1 more with a striker up front. You're going to have Salah on one side, Bobby as a 10, I think, which I think is going to suit him just fine because false 9, 10, fairly similar, and that's going to change. And that's why I think Bobby's still going to be very pivotal in the Liverpool upcoming season. So, are there other players just like Bobby? No.
But why would you change? Why would you change it though? Like why would he change it? They're playing. They're literally, I would say, the second best team in the world right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to get much better because Real Madrid's going to continue to be one of the top teams regardless. And really, that's only in the Champions League. Obviously, they win the league and
Yeah.
everything, but in the Champions League, Real Madrid are a different team.
Yeah.
Liverpool are, you could say, arguably, like over the course of a season, if you put all the teams together and you had like a 38-game season with all the best clubs in the world, Liverpool would arguably
Yeah.
be one of the top two.
And it's crazy because you take the past 4 years, only like a point or two separates Liverpool and Man City.
So why would you change that?
Well, I think just to have Plan B. Like if the 4-3 is not going, you want to be able to like change it up
But
and do something different.
Teams can't stop it. You got to keep doing it. Doesn't matter if they
yeah.
figured you out, because a lot of these teams will figure. Like Marcelo Bielsa when he played, forget who he was coaching, but when he was played against, I think it was Barcelona, he had a binder of a scouting report.
Yeah, how to stop.
Of everything. And then when they lost 3-0, and he showed the press afterwards. He's like, look, this is the binder that I had, and we lost 3-0. So it doesn't matter, because you can know everything about them. You can know more about their system than they do. And at the end of the day, they have better players. They're going to beat you. So
I just like the fact that you can go into, like, Liverpool at times last season or in previous seasons, like you watch them in certain games where they're struggling, where like the teams are just dropping all the way back, like kind of like what Real Madrid did. They just stayed back, and it was pretty tough to break down. I think it's important to have a natural 9, somebody, a presence in the box who's going to be just,
But see, that's what I'm saying, though. Bobby does a great job as a false 9 because he starts in a position where he's like a 9 and then he drops in. If you put him as a 10, that changes his position, because then he's no longer a false 9. So he's a 10 operating in that gap the entire time for the most part. And maybe you'll find someone who can switch, so Bobby can play as the 9 and then switch with the 10. That's fine, but that's what his strength is. So why would you change him to a 10 if the false 9 is the reason why he's been such a good playmaker?
Yeah. Plan B.
Anyway, listen, we're getting away from the transfers, which is fine.
I'm just gonna say this: Bobby Firmino is 1 in a million. Like you don't listen. You don't
1
find
in a million. This guy says.
Look,
if we counted all the soccer players in history,
I know you okay. When
all
you
the
think
top
about
soccer
when you
players
think
in
about the
history.
best players in the world, that's why I said in this Liverpool team, it's hard to like explain it. When you watch Liverpool playing since Jurgen Klopp came and since Bobby came, Bobby has been a pivotal part.
Yes,
of
I agree
how
with this.
And Liverpool, like you said, are one, if not, they've been top 5 in best teams in the past 4 years, 5 years, whatever, because of how they've played. And
Correct.
Bobby has been played a pivotal
I'm
role.
not disagreeing with you there. All I'm saying is you were laughing at my comparison.
Yeah,
to
with
Richarlison.
Richarlison. Yeah, because
And I'm telling you, if he's in the top 30, and you're confused about whether he's even in the top 30. If I was to paint a painting of the best players, and I could think of 30 guys, and you don't even have to go further back than like 1995. He might not be in that picture.
Well, yeah, because you look at the Liverpool team. You have Salah, you have Mane, you have Van Dijk. Like those guys are gonna be in there.
So comparing him to Richarlison is not that far off.
It is. It is.
Not that far.
Okay.
So you're saying Richarlison's like not even close.
Like if I'm picking somebody to replace Bobby, Richarlison's not even my top 20. Like I'm not even thinking about Richarlison. Maybe I'm biased because he played for Everton, and I hate Everton obviously, but I do like Richarlison as a player. Don't get me wrong. He's not. Well, okay.
Saying, from what he's shown at a team like Everton,
terrible.
He's got the potential. He's got the potential to be a quality striker. He is already, I think.
Yeah, I like him.
He just didn't have the proper team, and he actually did quite well with Everton, to be fair. But at a team like Tottenham with a good coach and good players around him, I think
I think he would be good. I just don't see where he fits in, and don't ever compare Bobby to Richarlison.
Moving on. Agree to disagree there. So Spurs are also targeting Lenglet from Barcelona.
Yeah, that's gonna be supposed to be a loan deal.
And if Eric Dyer is your starting center back, you have a problem. You know who I compare Eric Dyer to?
Who?
Two other players, and they're both Manchester United players.
Oh god.
Don't
tell me Maguire.
Maguire.
Oh god.
And Phil Jones.
Okay, wait. Before
those 3 guys are like guys that are kind of like what are you guys doing on the field?
Look,
seriously.
Let me go back. Christian
I
Romero.
could play center back.
Christian Romero is pretty damn good at center back. He plays for Spurs. So if Richarlison does go there, it doesn't be crazy better because both of them are heated. But
so basically, they're gonna have to play with one center back.
Listen,
one center back. That's it. Anyway, moving on. That would be a good target for them. He's legit. He's okay.
Oh, Davison Sanchez. He's there too. I know he wasn't.
Listen,
Davison Sanchez
is Lenglet a good enough player?
Yeah, I like Lenglet.
He's playing in Barcelona, but was he really playing in Barcelona the whole time?
I don't know if he's gonna be. I don't think he's like a game changer. I don't know if he's gonna change the way Spurs play. I don't know if he's gonna
He'll
make
be
that
all right.
big
He'll
a
make him a
difference.
little bit more solid, but he won't. I mean,
My question is
if Eric Dyer's still on the field, you have a problem.
is he gonna play over Romero, Dyer?
Yes, he's going to play over
Or
one of them. He's going to
Sanchez.
be their starting center back, for sure. He's going to be their starting center back. But the problem is, when he's playing next to Eric Dyer.
Christian Romero's gonna play. Romero's playing no matter what.
All right, well, so you're saying Eric Dyer's out?
What? I don't know. Like, so I don't know if that's just for depth,
but
like
still.
just to have.
Big
I know.
names. I'm all about big names. I don't see big names there. Center
Listen,
backs.
I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't know who that Romero and Sanchez
That's
were.
the problem that they have.
No, those are these
And
guys
you
are
didn't do your
legit.
research, George.
I didn't do my research. Yeah, I mean, listen, the season has
George
been
doesn't
a
do his,
long.
George doesn't do his
offseason.
homework. He shows up 5 minutes before we start the podcast.
Listen,
Starts
I
writing
know,
notes.
I know everything. All right, I know everything about every player.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on from Spurs. Man
Go-
City.
Spurs are gonna be good.
Spurs will be legit. And I
Spurs are gonna be
credit
really
that
good.
mostly to the coaching because
Yeah.
I am a coach myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Conte has changed.
Conte
it. Yeah.
does not accept failure
Yeah.
or defeat.
It's gonna be.
I said that last episode as well.
It's yeah.
He'll be good. He'll have them playing in good style. He'll have them very disciplined, which is going to be important. And if he can get some of these transfers that he's building the team to be, I think they'll be okay.
I mean, with Perisic coming, God.
Still though, like if you think about it though, even if they're really really good, are they good enough to be top 3? No, because you're always going to have Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City. They might. So Liverpool and Man City are going to be in the top 5 for sure. Right? We can say that's
I hope.
as much guarantee as there is in football.
I hope
Those guys are going to be top.
It's hard. It's hard to stay on the top for so many years.
But they've been doing it.
They've been doing it, but I mean,
then
I
you
hope.
say-
I hope.
So then you got Chelsea, who's always going to be fighting for second at least.
Okay, I'm gonna make this prediction. Right. Okay, I can't make it now, but depending on how transfers go, as of right now, if I had to decide based on the transfers so far, obviously there's still plenty of time to go and things change real quick. But as of right now, Spurs are gonna finish above Chelsea in the Premier League.
But we're still talking positions 3, 4, 2 maybe.
Yeah,
Do you think Tottenham is going to be competing for top 2?
I hope not. But
I don't think so.
The only reason why I don't know if they will is because Conte's style. He did it at Chelsea. I don't know.
But here's the thing. We can't really predict because we never know. The only thing you know is that Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham
Yeah,
are probably going to be the 4 teams that are guaranteed to be in the, let's say, top 5 or 6.
yeah.
Right? And then from there, you have whether Arsenal is going to actually be able to compete. They'll be somewhere around the fifth place, 6th place, maybe 4th
Yeah.
this year. Who knows? Probably not, to be honest. And I'm an Arsenal fan. And then Manchester United going to need some years to rebuild. All right, so they're
Yeah.
going to be out for a while. And then who else do you have? Then you start having like Everton and Wolves and not Everton, but like you'll have
Newcastle are gonna be up there.
Newcastle. You'll have
Yeah, Wolves,
Yeah.
West Ham.
so, but you can pretty much guarantee that those teams are going to be at the top.
Yeah,
But it doesn't change anything because Tottenham finished 4th anyway right now. So yeah, they're strengthening their back line, but are they really or strengthening their team? But are they really going to be good enough to be competing for the top 3 spots, top 2 spots?
I think they get 3rd. That's it. But I hope. I don't want to say anything about Liverpool, man, because I feel like I'll jinx it. So I'm just gonna, I
Alright.
think Spurs are gonna get.
We'll leave
top
that
3.
one there. Man City. So Calvin Phillips pretty much done.
Yeah, medical Friday tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's like the
Yeah,
last
pretty
hurdle
much,
or whatever.
yeah.
But that's well known. Is he even going to start?
That's what I was
You
thinking.
got too
Like,
many players there, man. You
like-
can make a B team and they could be top 5 in the Premier League from Man City's B team.
yeah, I mean Fernandinho left, so obviously they needed
Yeah.
another like holding mid. I did see who was it? Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville were talking about it. All the Bielsa players that go into like all their teams struggle because the way they play is completely different to how anybody else plays. But I will say, as a defensive mid, as a 6, like the job is the same, like wherever you go.
But I think that it'll be a welcoming change for him because I think the mental load will probably be the same because of the way that they teach Guardiola and Bielsa. But the physical side, I think, will be a little bit more. It'll be better for him
Yeah,
because the physical side at Leeds is
Yeah.
under Bielsa is a nightmare, and
Yeah.
everybody talks openly about it, and even the players will say like, yeah, it gets results, but there's like it's very
Yeah.
unconventional.
yeah.
Pep, I think, is a little bit more normal-minded, if I would say. He's not as crazy as Bielsa when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think he leaves that stuff up to the sports scientist.
Yeah.
So I think the mental load of it will be fine, will be the same, but physically I think it'll be better off for Calvin Phillips.
Plus, City have the ball 80% possession, so he's gonna be on the ball most of the time.
I think he'll be good. I think he'll get a lot of playing time.
I like Calvin Phillips. I like him a lot. I really do. I rate him a lot. I wish, obviously, he went to Liverpool, but like, okay, for example,
Georgie only likes him because they got similar hairstyles.
That's pretty much. I did like him in the documentary though. He's a G.
guy.
Yeah. And when he plays for England, he's a baller.
And he's hitting his prime right now. Like
Yeah.
this is where he's really into his prime.
The big question is he gonna start over Rodri? I don't see that.
But here's the thing about Man City: they play so many games in a year because of all the competitions that they're in, that those guys are always going to get playing time.
Okay.
It just like you're debating whether he's going to get playing time in the Champions League versus if he's getting playing time in like the FA Cup or some of the Premier League games.
So, for example, last year, Jack Grealish, amazing season for Aston Villa. Record deal. They signed him from Aston Villa. What was it, 100 mil? Some of the sort to Man City.
Yep.
Would you say that was the right choice?
Yes.
And did he have a successful year at Man City?
Yes and yes. They're slowly bringing him into the team. He wasn't off the team because he wasn't good enough. He came in a little bit later and they're like slowly incorporating him into the team. That's how I feel. And he was always one of the first choices when they needed a game changer. He was always one of the first choices to come off the bench.
He's different to what they have, yeah.
So I think he's one of those players that you have to give a little bit more freedom to from a coach's perspective. You have to he can't be held to the same structure that some of the players in Man City are because of Pep's style. Pep has to give him a little bit of rope and be like, okay, we're bringing this guy in because he's creative, because he's going to do some things that some of our other players aren't going to do, but we're going to lose a little bit of the more organized, like defensive style and the organized, like this is exactly where you need to be in this spot when the ball's over here. So they're going to lose a little bit of that, but that's why I think he was bringing him off the bench in his first season.
Yeah. I think it's going to be similar to Phillips. I think he's not going to start right away. He's going to bring him a little bit, kind of show, like, it's a change. Obviously, it's a big change. It's a big money move and all that, the pressure, all that comes with it. But I think he's going to be fine because as a 6, you kind of do the similar job. You just,
Yeah, but the difference between like a Grealish and Calvin Phillips is that Phillips is going to be it's going to be easy for Phillips to adapt to the structured style that Pep wants. He's not one of those players that he's going to give him complete freedom. He's going to tell him, this is how you play the 6 in my style. We got you because we know that you can play the 6 in my style. So just do it right. And I think just his mentality and the type of person he is, Phillips will be open to that. He'll be fine.
What are the odds Phillips slides in as a center back with Rodri playing?
No chance. He's not a center back.
He's not a center back.
He's a ball winner.
Fernandinho wasn't a center back.
Yeah, but Fernandinho's got. The thing is, Fernandinho, he's got that like leadership, like he's got that presence that could be a center back. Phillips doesn't have that necessarily. He's not a center back. No.
Wait, I swear he played center back for Leeds last year or 2 years ago.
Maybe in some games, but he's a 6.
He's a 6.
That's his position.
Yeah. I'm saying
you're not going to buy a player like that.
No.
Like,
I'm not saying
change your
like
position to fit our style.
No.
If Manchester City's buying Calvin Phillips, they're buying him because they need a 6.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying that he's like that's going to be his main position center back, but I can see some games Guardiola saying, look,
potentially
size as a center back.
Guardiola does that with a lot of his players. He moves them around if he needs them.
Yeah. I think he's going to do good. I think it's a good signing for City as well. And
then Manchester United, the only one that we've heard so far, Frankie de Jong.
Yeah, that's the main one.
He's a good player. I like him. Barcelona really likes him. But
Barcelona need the money.
It's possible, yeah.
So, 80 mil for Frankie, like...
Why would he want to go to Man U, though? That's my question.
He's coach. Reunited, right?
Yeah, but... And I guess that does play a big part of it is when you know who the one is in charge and you've been coached by them and you already have that relationship. He knows he's not going to go to Manchester United and try out, but he's going to go to Manchester United because the coach is like, hey, I need you. Mm-hmm. It makes it easier for him. And then obviously with the changes, the thing with Barca is that it's constantly changing. You always constantly bringing in players and like you could be, and it happened with Ronaldinho as well. It's like you could be a club legend. If you're not performing within the last few games or whatever, you're going to be on the bench.
Yeah.
That's just the philosophy of Barca. And unless you're like a club staple, like Piqué was there for the longest time, he's still there. But I feel like a lot of players, if they don't grow up in the Barcelona system, it's very hard for them to actually incorporate and be like long-term players for Barcelona. I think they should keep him. I don't know why they would sell him. I like him.
Yeah, I like Frankie. And I mean, even Xavi was saying how he wants to build a Frankie and Bernardo Silva type of relationship if they do bring him from Man City. But I don't know. Man United supposedly 120 million. Like that's how much they're allowing for transfers this year, for this offseason. They're gonna sell a bunch of players. It's a mess over there. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it for Manchester United. Not much activity there. Arsenal, we already talked about it. Gabriel Jesus and All or Nothing documentary. Let's go.
Oh, that's when is it? August
7th or something like that. Yeah. But I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited. All or Nothing always.
It would have been nice if we would have made it to the Champions, because then the documentary would have finished with like a good celebration.
Yeah,
but
on the high,
just kind of ends on a disappointment in the last day.
Man, it's sad because 4 games to go, and you guys were in the driver's seat.
I'm excited to see and I don't know how much they're going to show, but I'm excited to see what the culture looks like there.
Yeah.
Because you could see what the culture looks like from Tottenham when like Mourinho was there, and then from Manchester City with Pep. I'm curious to see how Arteta has the culture in the club.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, all those are really.
All those are good. Yeah. Regardless of whether you're a Liverpool fan, Chelsea fan, like all those are worth watching.
Yeah. Every single one, and you get to see, like you said, behind the scenes what players, coaches, the mindset, like what they go through, what they think about, how to prepare for games, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm excited for it as well.
All right, now let's just run through some of the other ones, the quick ones. Pogba's leaving.
Yeah, Pogba
most likely agreed with Juventus. Everything's pretty much already done.
Going back home.
You don't rate him too much, huh?
I'm not.
He's special. You got to admit, Pogba. And if you take his best performance is better than most of the top players' best performances.
I think
his passing ability is next level.
He's a player that needs to be babied.
Yes.
And which is fine. Like there's some players, like everybody's different. Everybody's mentality is different. But
he needs to be appreciated.
He wants to be loved.
He needs to be appreciated by the coach, by the manager, by the fans, by the ownership. He needs to be appreciated.
And I think at Juve, he's gonna get that because he was there. That's where he made his name.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was in Manchester at first as a young kid, then loved because he wasn't getting the respect he wanted. Went to Juve, made a name for himself. They got him for 100 mil. Didn't do too much in the past few years, and then now he's back. So
that's great business for Juve, by the way.
Yeah, great business for Juve.
Great business, because I guarantee he's gonna go back there. He's gonna enjoy playing for them, and he's gonna
change.
Be a baller.
And Juve do need somebody to get him back to winning ways, because both teams from Milan are making moves and winning the league.
They've dropped off in the last couple of years, basically from when Pirlo showed up, right?
Yeah.
So
when they had the All or Nothing on.
Yep. It all went downhill from there.
Huh?
But I think he'll be fine going back to Juve. He'll be a baller. I like him. I like him a lot, but the problem with him is he's extremely inconsistent. You can't be inconsistent. We talked about that last episode, but he's a good player. Speaking of players returning to their clubs, Lukaku going back to Inter.
Yeah, on loan.
That guy can't make up his mind, huh?
Yeah, right.
Chelsea, Inter.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And now he's like, I'm coming back home. But he said he's coming back home when he went back to Chelsea. I don't know. Great business for Inter again, just like Juve. Like you sell somebody for so much money and then it doesn't work out and you bring him back and he's going to score goals. You know what he's all about. It's puts Inter back.
I never really rated Lukaku, though.
You're not a Lukaku.
Not a Lukaku. Maybe it's not that I don't think he's a good player, because I think he's a good player. He's not the type of player that I enjoy watching or I enjoy coaching. Yeah. Just because he's like a traditional number 9, which I guess now they should be appreciated a little bit more because you don't see those types of guys as often. They're a little bit more rare now with everybody doing the false 9, different formations where you don't need a big striker who just holds the ball up. But maybe that's why. Maybe I just modern coaching. I don't like the traditional number 9.
I think he goes back to Inter, gets 15, 20 goals. He's gonna do well in Inter.
Yeah, he'll do okay.
Didn't work out.
Great business for these Italian clubs. Great business. Yeah. Your boy,
Minamino. I like Minamino, but it's just he's not gonna get.
He was never going to get any playing time at Liverpool, was he?
He did amazing against Liverpool for Salzburg in the Champions League a few years ago, and Liverpool got him for what was it, 6-7 million, and then selling him for 17. He did pretty well in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
But it's tough, man. Like
he was never going to be Jurgen Klopp's like first choice for
Salah, Firmino, Jota, Mane, Bayern Diaz.
And I think he's one of those players that maybe he just does a little bit better with less talented players around him.
Yeah.
He's one of those players that will put more of the stuff on more of the weight on his shoulders, as opposed to him playing with better players where I feel like he kind of doesn't stick out as much.
Yeah. He's just
but I like him.
He just didn't. Yeah, I like Minamino. He just didn't work out, which is fair.
Xavi Simons. That guy has been in social media since he was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he's actually done quite well because most players, you never know, like when they're 6 or 7 years old and they're being posted on social media and stuff, and then like everybody forgets about them later, or these kid wonder kids or whatever you want to call them. But he's actually done well because he was at Barca, and then he transferred to PSG.
Yeah.
And now from PSG, so this is what happened. They had a deal in place with PSV Eindhoven where he was going to go out on loan. And then, like, last minute, the deal just fell apart, and PSV said, we're just going to buy him outright. So they bought him outright, so he's not going on loan like everybody thought. Mm-hmm. But somehow PSV still managed to try and get a buyback clause in the deal.
Oh, PSG tried to get a buyback clause?
Yeah, PSG tried to get a buyback clause. So it's kind of weird because I saw on Twitter, people were like, well, how does that even happen? How can they even do that?
Yeah.
And again, once again, our boy Fabricio said, gentlemen agreements are often put in. They can put in put in whatever they want in the contract.
Buyback clause.
So they were saying like, we'll sell them to you, but like if we decide to change our mind,
you can buy them anytime.
Yeah,
for a certain amount of price.
So it's a loan without it being a loan.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect. The league is perfect for younger players to develop, get playing time, and improve. Like obviously you see PSV,
and he's coming from PSG, so
so I think it's a good move for him if he's ever going to develop and play and improve and get a lot of playing time. It's a great move. I mean, who knows? Like PSG might buy him in 2-3 years or whenever, and then
he just needs consistent game time because they hyped him up so much that Barca. And maybe if he would have stayed at Barca, he might have been playing now.
Yeah.
But then again, it's the same thing with PSG. It's like they put him in PSG. They buy him at PSG where they have all these superstars.
Yeah.
Are you going to really play? He might be good enough, and he might. If he's one of those players like, he's a young guy, let's put him in and see how he does. But PSG is like, no, because we have all these other players that we need to put in. We don't do that here. Big time Charlies are on the field, so you can't take them off. So I think he just needs some playing time. He is like, he reminds me of Odegaard.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that. He's that type of player where like Odegaard was hyped up so much, went to Real Madrid, didn't do so great, went on loan, was playing in La Liga, and just balled out. And then Arsenal picked him up, and I think that's Arsenal's best signing in a long time, by the way.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, Odegaard is good, and I think similar path.
Xavi Simons could be like that too, where he gets more playing time. Some teams that maybe aren't as big named, and then next thing you know, PSG is buying him back, or Barca's buying him back, or Chelsea's trying to hijack those deals as well.
Yeah.
So, and then your boy Gareth Bale, LAFC, trying to build a super team. These guys are watching the NBA. These guys are watching the NBA, trying to build super teams now in the MLS.
Gareth Bale, man, the guy just wants to play golf. So it's funny because as soon as the transfer was announced, everybody on Twitter was like, okay, how many golf courses are in LA? And there's like hundreds.
Yep.
So
he's going to love it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I did see a screenshot. I don't know how true this is. Thomas Muller from Bayern Munich. Yep. What did he say? He tweeted.
It was a guy playing foot golf. The one where you kick the soccer ball into the golf course, into the hole. And it said like, tag someone that you know would be good at this. And he tagged Gareth Bale. Yeah.
Is that actually true though? It's like I just saw the screenshot. I didn't really go into details.
We can post it on here. We'll see. But I think it was. I think it was because like ESPN retweeted it or something like that.
That's funny.
So
There you go.
Let that guy enjoy his life. The problem is ever since he posted, when things started not going well at Real Madrid, and then they posted that picture of him with Wales.
Yeah, with the football,
with
golf,
the flag and stuff. From there, I feel like Real Madrid was kind of like, you're taking the piss out of who we are, so like no chance for you. And then he never really played. There was times where he wasn't on the bench.
Yeah,
he was on the bench at the end for the Champions League, but
Okay, so
it went downhill from there. Is what I'm saying.
When you talk about Gareth Bale,
he's a good player.
When you talk about Gareth Bale, okay, so
inconsistent. Pogba
at Spurs, really good.
Very consistent.
Went to Real Madrid. What do you rate Gareth Bale's legacy at Real Madrid?
The thing is, his legacy should be, people forget that bicycle kick he had in the Champions League final. Nobody talks about that. Everybody makes fun of Gareth Bale, golf and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
You don't talk about it either, clearly. But that bicycle kick got overshadowed probably because of Karius' performance.
Yeah.
That game. And that was like a whole controversy there. And then that goal that Benzema scored because the guy rolled it out to Benzema. So it's crazy to me that we don't talk about that, because that was that moment. And then you talk about like the Copa del Rey versus Barca, where he just ran
down the line.
He literally ran a mile around the guy and then he scored. And people forget about those moments because a lot of people would say he's a flop at Real Madrid. I don't think he was a flop. I think he just made a bad decision when he posted that picture and things weren't going so well. And then from there, everybody was like, you can't disrespect Real Madrid like that. And then when that happened, he started not getting as much playing time. But the thing is, he also didn't really care too much. Like the guy was like happy being on the golf courses, while Real Madrid's like, okay, you're not going to play. And he was like, all right. And then till later when he was like, it's been 2-3 years now that I haven't played. And now towards the end of his Real Madrid career, he was posting good things about Real Madrid and the Champions League. But before that, it didn't seem like he was too interested.
So he does have those moments. Because when Ronaldo was at Real Madrid, and I used to watch La Liga, and I was like all about it. I'm a big Ronaldo fan. But when Bale got to Real Madrid, obviously Ronaldo was there, Benzema was there, like the team was really good. Then he started getting, obviously, like you said, he had those moments. But the fans never really got behind Gareth Bale.
Nope, that's what I'm saying.
It was like there was always boos, and I remember there's like Ronaldo had to like step in a few times like during games, and was like stop booing him, like clap for him, like you need to give him support, this and this. And a lot of the times it didn't work out because he was hurt. He started getting those calf injuries. I remember for 2 years he had this calf problem. He blamed the medical staff, then the staff blamed him for not doing it, then he had to hire all the people. It was a whole thing in Real Madrid. So for 2 years he just had that problem. So he does have moments. He scored some goals. He had a lot of injuries. The fans never really got behind him. So I think when you put everything together, like a Real Madrid,
he won't be remembered as a Real Madrid legend.
No, he is
one of the guys that passed through.
I think he did.
I think he did well when he was put in.
Yeah.
And when you had, remember, and everybody also forgets the time where it was Ronaldo, Bale, and Benzema.
Yeah.
And that was the attacking trio versus Neymar, Suarez, and Messi. Like those times were very, very good times for a Clásico. So people completely forget about that because, again, as I said, he disrespected the club, and you can't that's literally like the one club in the world that you can never disrespect.
Fans will never forget it.
But now he's going to LAFC.
Yeah, he's gonna enjoy
disrespect
life.
those guys as much as he wants because he can be. I'm sure he agreed. I'm sure at some point in his contract talks, or in his contract actual document, the word golf is included somewhere. I guarantee.
There has to be. How many goals does he score in his first season?
What's the season? What do they do? Like a 38 game schedule? They do a different schedule, don't they?
No, MLS.
I don't know.
I have no idea, to be honest, what they do, but
should have done our research, George. But he's going to be one of the top goal scorers. I'll say he'll be outside of the top 5. I don't think he'll be top 5 goal scorers.
You don't think so?
Not in his first season. MLS is a hard league to do well in. It's different.
It is different.
It's so different. And it's not that the level is just good, because obviously we know that the level is not as good. But for whatever reason, individually speaking, coming to the MLS to do well is very difficult.
I mean, yeah. And you got to think about, for example, you're playing at a high level and then you jump down to play like semi-pro or like Sunday league. You're like, what? These guys around me, what? They came and passed the ball. Like you're not used to the movements, whatever.
And they're kicking you every 5 seconds.
Yeah, so it's different. And also, he's coming here to kind of enjoy life. Let's be honest.
That's what they all do right now.
Yeah, so
They're trying to change the perception. And players like, for example, Chicharito,
yeah,
starting to change that a little bit because
Yeah.
Chicharito was at the end of his Europe phase,
yeah,
but he wasn't like, oh, I'm just,
retire.
I'll retire in 2 years. He was like, I'm still want to play at a high level,
Mhm.
but, you know, and he could have probably gone somewhere else, but he was already starting to flip-flop between teams here and there. So they're trying to change the perception to actually bring some of these players in during their peaks. Like Insigne.
Yeah,
They're like, okay, we're going to invest. And by the way, did you hear how they got him?
no,
They literally went on Transfer Market and they like looked at who was available and they're like, oh, why don't we get this guy? He's pretty good. That's literally what the director of recruiting or whatever said. He's like trying to do something different, trying to use an alternative method to scouting, and literally just went on Transfer Market and was like, this guy's available and he's pretty good. Why don't we reach out? And then they got him. And everybody's like, well, I could be a scout.
Yeah.
I just
at that
scroll
point,
on Transfer Market for a couple hours.
yeah, that's
But-
interesting.
But like players like him who are playing at their
Yeah.
peak,
And I like him a lot too.
yeah, he's a good player. I think he's going to be one of the top goal scorers. I
Yeah.
think he'll do really well. But they're trying to change the perception little by little. Will they change it? I think it's going to take closer to another decade
Yeah. Well,
before they can really be like, okay, we're getting players.
Yeah.
We're starting to sign.
Carlos Vela was
Another one.
yeah, pretty like he was young when he was here.
When he was at Arsenal, he scored like every single goal that he scored, which was only like 3 or 4 goals, was a chip.
Yeah,
That's how it felt. I don't know, he scored like 2 or 3 chips,
yeah,
like really nice ones. But those players don't work out in Europe. They come here, and obviously they're some of the best players. But still, like you're talking about Carlos Vela, you're saying, okay, he's coming from European background and like really high levels, but is he really that high level of a player? If you take him to Europe, how well would he do playing for Real Madrid, Chelsea, Arsenal even now?
yeah.
You know? But they're trying to change the perception, and I think they'll get there eventually. It's going to take some time, but they need to continue to do 2 things: invest in these players, but while they're in their prime.
Yeah.
Not try to build super teams off of guys who are about to retire, and continue developing the really young players.
Yeah.
Because if they can get a young player who comes out of the MLS and plays like a couple really, really good seasons in the MLS before he goes to Europe, then that helps out the whole perception of it as well. The problem is that they're losing a lot of these guys, a lot of these young players before they really have good seasons, because all these top scouts are looking at them like, this guy in 2 years, he's going to be one of the best players in the world. And so they take him over there. So you don't hear about him when they're here in the MLS or when they're in the USL Championship or whatever, when they're developing here in the academies. Mm-hmm. You don't hear about him until they break into the first team over there in Europe, and then you're like, damn, he's American and he's really, really good. If MLS could do a better job of developing these players to give them playing time in the MLS and getting them to that level before they go to Europe, I think that's where there's going to be a lot more eyes on the MLS.
Speaking of LAFC, are they going to be like? Do you think they're going to be challenging with Bale and Chiellini?
No.
How old is Chiellini?
He's got to be like 35.
37 years old, Chiellini. And what's Bale? 32, 33? Is he?
He's got to be, it's somewhere around there.
He has to be, because I don't think he's that old.
But still, that's past your prime. He's past his prime.
Yeah.
So
what are you trying to say, man? I'm 32. Yeah, he's 32.
I get the perspective of them trying to bring a little bit more interest into the MLS, but now they need to mix that with
talent,
the development and the youth talent as well, and talent from Europe at the top.
Yeah.
If they can manage to continue to bring players in like Insigne over here at this time in their careers, they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
So that's it for that's all we got for transfer today, which is actually quite a lot happens in a week during the transfer window.
A lot happens in a day. By tomorrow, I guarantee we could do another show and talk about everything again.
But let's just do this episode with just transfers, because we went on for almost an hour. So we'll finish it there. We'll record another episode next week. Make sure you guys are checking out our Instagram and our Twitter and our TikTok, because we will start posting stuff on there.
Yeah, we'll start posting now. Yeah.
And then just, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And then just any suggestions, comments, questions of things that we can improve, things we can do a little bit better. First few episodes are going to be a little sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, we're
But
just
then
testing the water,
Testing
see
the
see
waters.
what works, what doesn't, and we're gonna try and bring in people here and there if we can, and then yeah, I don't know, talk about transfers. Season's coming up,
We're going to upload this episode, and then tomorrow there's going to be like 100 different changes.
and by the time we post this, everyone's like,
Chelsea's going to have Richarlison, Calvin Phillips. They're going to have Pogba, Lukaku. They're going to have all those guys hijacked.
Yeah, all of them. They're all going to Chelsea. It's crazy, man. The transfer window is insane. 5-10 minutes is all it takes for a deal to go through, and you're too late.
Yep.
But I mean, we're trying our best. Obviously, we're doing this once a week, so things might be a little delayed. But I mean, once a week for now, and then we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys do enjoy us talking about it. And if you guys like Javi said, any suggestions, just let us know down in the comments, and then we can try our best to make it work, and then yeah, go from there.
All right. Good episode, Georgie. Good episode. Well done. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you guys.
Peace.